The clink of crystal glasses filled the air as my family gathered around the dinner table to celebrate yet another accomplishment of my brother, Michael. This time, it was his promotion to head of cardiology at St. Clare Memorial Hospital, the very hospital where Emma, our sister, ran the surgery department, and the place I had once imagined myself practicing medicine. To Michael, our father boomed, raising his glass, a puff of pride in his chest, following in my footsteps and surpassing every expectation. I sat in silence, pushing my food around aimlessly, trying to shrink, to disappear, but in this family, there's no hiding from your failures. Sophia, Emma's voice oozed with mock sympathy. It must be tough, watching everyone else soar while you. She let her words trail off, leaving the silence to do the rest. I am Dr. Sophia Mitchell, though that's a title my family refuses to acknowledge. To them, I'm the one who couldn't make it in their world of prestigious medicine, the one who disappointed them by walking away. Still at that little research company? Michael sneered, not bothering to mask his disdain. What exactly is it you do there, filing papers? I took a slow sip of my wine before answering. I'm the head of medical research and development at Innovix Pharmaceuticals. Emma scoffed, rolling her eyes. That's not real medicine, you don't even see patients. Our mother nodded, as if on cue. Sweetheart, we've always said you could try applying to St. Clare again. Start small, maybe as a resident. Your father could certainly pull some strings. The thought of it made my stomach churn. Once, I had been on the fast track, top of my class, full of promise in the medical field, but I saw something my family never could, or simply refused to. Medicine was evolving. The world didn't just need more surgeons, it needed innovation, it needed research, it needed new treatments. I'm happy with where I am, I replied, my voice calm but firm. Happy? My father snorted. Mitchells don't settle for happy, we strive for excellence. Your siblings understand that. Michael's performing groundbreaking surgeries. Emma runs the top department in the state. And what have you done lately? Filled out a few spreadsheets, Emma chimed in with a smug smile. They had no idea. The spreadsheets she mocked were the blueprint for something monumental, but I kept quiet, remembering the confidentiality agreement I had signed. The rest of the evening was a parade of boasting, subtle insults, and sharp reminders of how far I had fallen in their eyes. Michael went on about his new Porsche. Emma showed off her latest designer watch. My parents basked in their children's success. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Actually, I said, standing up, I should get going. Big day tomorrow. Oh? Michael raised an eyebrow. Let me guess, organizing someone's filing cabinet? Their laughter rang out, sharp and mocking, echoing off the polished walls of our family's home. I grabbed my coat and walked out without another word, their laughter still trailing behind me. What they didn't know was that tomorrow would change everything. As I drove home to my modest apartment, my phone buzzed with a message from Marcus, my lawyer. All papers are ready for tomorrow's signing. The board voted unanimously in your favor. Congratulations, Dr. Mitchell. A smile tugged at my lips. The years of careful planning had finally brought me here. While my family had been too busy dismissing my career choices, I'd been building something far bigger than they could ever imagine. 5 years ago, I made a breakthrough in targeted cancer treatment. Instead of following the conventional path through hospital trials, I founded my own research company. Innovix Pharmaceuticals started small, but the results were staggering. The patents alone were worth billions, and major pharmaceutical giants were clamoring for partnerships. But that wasn't the endgame. For years, I quietly bought shares in St. Clare Memorial Hospital, using shell companies to conceal my involvement. The hospital board, tired of the old guard and impressed by the innovations I brought through Innovix, was ready for a change. They had no idea that their future was being shaped by a Mitchell. I had changed my professional name years ago, legally becoming Dr. Sophia Lane. In the world of biotech and innovation, that's how I was known. And tomorrow, that name would mark the beginning of a new era. The acquisition would be finalized, and St. Clare Memorial Hospital would have a new owner. Sleep barely touched me that night. I kept picturing their faces, my family, when they realized the daughter they dismissed, the failure, was now their boss. By morning, a strange calm had settled over me. I dressed with purpose, a black tailored suit, pearls at my throat, and resolve in every movement. I no longer needed their recognition. I had outgrown it. At 9 a.m., I walked into the executive conference room at St. Clare Memorial. My father was already seated among the board members. He didn't so much as glance my way, probably assumed I was someone's assistant. "Where's this Dr. Lane?" one board member asked. "We were told the new owner would be here." I stepped forward, placed my briefcase on the table, and said, "Dr. Lane is here." My father looked up, confused, then stunned. "Though you might know me better as Dr. Sophia Mitchell." The color drained from his face. Before he could recover, the hospital's chief administrator spoke. "Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Dr. Sophia Lane, CEO of Innovix Pharmaceuticals, and the new majority owner of St. Clare Memorial Hospital." The silence that followed was thick, heavy. My father's face turned crimson, his knuckles white against the armrests of his chair. "This is impossible," he muttered. "There must be some mistake." "No mistake," the administrator replied, cheerfully oblivious. "Dr. Lane's company has revolutionized cancer treatment. Her leadership is exactly what this hospital needs." The board voted unanimously. I opened my briefcase and began distributing documents. "I have a few immediate changes planned," I said evenly, starting with a complete overhaul of the research department and the implementation of new, evidence-based treatment protocols. My father leaned forward, his voice low and sharp. "You can't do this." I slid a document across the table to him. "Actually, I can. I own 67% of the hospital now, and as majority owner, my first official act is to restructure the board." The meeting lasted 2 hours. I laid out my vision, integrating cutting-edge research, overhauling outdated systems, creating accountability. The board was enthusiastic. My father remained silent, watching as the ground shifted beneath his feet. By the time I stepped into the hallway, the news had already begun to ripple through the hospital, and waiting outside were Michael and Emma, their expressions twisted with disbelief and barely restrained anger. Emma's voice was venomous. "How dare you? This hospital is our family's legacy." "And it still is," I replied, "just under new management." Michael loomed closer, puffed up with his usual arrogance. "You think you can just take over? You've never run a hospital." I met his gaze without flinching. "Let's take a look at your department's data, shall we?" I pulled a folder from my bag. 15% increase in readmissions, patient satisfaction at a 5-year low. That's under your leadership. He paled. "And Emma," I said, turning to her, "your department overspent by $2 million last year, with no measurable improvement in outcomes." Her mouth opened, furious. "You've been spying on us?" "No," I replied. "I've been doing my due diligence, something neither of you seemed interested in." Then our father emerged from the boardroom. His jaw was set, his expression unreadable. "Sophia," he said, "we need to talk, now." We stepped into his office, soon to be mine, and he closed the door. For a long moment, he just stared at me. "Why?" he asked finally. "Why would you do this?" I held his gaze. "Do you remember what you said when I told you I wanted to go into research? You told me I was throwing my life away, that I'd never amount to anything outside your definition of success." He looked down, silent. "You couldn't see that medicine needed more than just scalpel skills and white coats. While you mocked my little research company, I was building treatments that are saving lives." His voice was bitter. "So this is your revenge?" "No," I said softly, "this is repair. This hospital has been running on prestige while falling behind. I'm here to fix it." A knock on the door interrupted us. Marcus stepped in with papers that needed my signature. As I turned to leave, my father's voice stopped me. "Your mother will be devastated." I paused in the doorway. "She'll be fine," I said. "Eventually, we all will." And I walked out, never looking back. I paused at the door. Maybe it was time she learned to be proud of the daughter she had, not the one she always wished I'd become. The weeks that followed were a blur of transformation. I appointed new board members, overhauled departments, and rolled out the same innovative protocols that had made Innovix a leader in medical research. Michael and Emma had a choice: adapt or leave. To my surprise, Michael stayed. Slowly, he began to engage with the new cardiac treatments we introduced. He asked questions, he listened, he grew. Emma didn't. She resigned, taking a position at another hospital across the city. No farewell, just a terse, impersonal email. My mother stopped speaking to me altogether. Family dinners disappeared, replaced by tense hallway encounters and frosty policy memos. Then, one late evening about a month into the transition, There was a knock on my office door. Michael stepped in, looking uncertain. "Got a minute?" I nodded, gesturing to the chair across from me. He sat, adjusting his tie like it was choking him. "That new protocol in cardiology," he began, voice low. "It's working. Patient recovery times are up by over 40%. "I know," I said. He was quiet, then looked up. "I didn't get it before, what you were doing, all those years. I thought you left real medicine behind, but now I see, you were pushing it forward." He paused. "I was wrong about you, Sophia, we all were." It wasn't a full apology. But it was the closest we'd ever come. In the year that followed, Clare Memorial became something entirely new. Patient outcomes improved. Our research department, once an afterthought, became a hub of cutting-edge discovery. The hospital stopped coasting on its name, and started earning it. My father retired, though every so often he'd send me articles on new medical advancements or notes about unusual cases. It was his quiet way of reaching out. Emma kept her distance, but I heard whispers that she'd begun using our protocols in her new role. The family dinners never resumed. But something else did. Each month, I hosted a dinner for the hospital's research team. We celebrated breakthroughs, welcomed fresh ideas, debated openly. The air wasn't thick with ego or legacy, just possibility. One night, as I was leaving the hospital, I overheard a young resident talking to a colleague. "Did you know Dr. Mitchell designed the new protocol we're using? She's totally changed how we treat post-op patients." "Which Dr. Mitchell?" the other asked. "Dr. Sophia Mitchell," the resident said. "She runs everything." I smiled as I walked to my car. Not poor Sophia anymore. Not the failed Mitchell. Just Dr. Mitchell. The one who runs everything. Sometimes, success doesn't come in the form people expect. Sometimes, it means walking the path alone, until others realize it leads somewhere better. And sometimes, the sweetest vindication isn't proving them wrong. It's proving yourself right. The name Mitchell still hangs above the hospital's main entrance. But now, it means something different. It stands for innovation, vision, the courage to reimagine what medicine could be. And every morning, as I walk through those doors, I remind myself, success isn't about who applauds you. It's about who you become when no one does.